Da 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 da. Welcome to Disenfranchised, the one where we explain disenfranchised grief through friends. I'm Karen Bulinski Mathison from The Naked Grief, and I'm here with Melissa Bishop of Wholehearted Studio. Thanks for being a part of this broadcast today, Melissa.
Hi, as Karen said, I'm Melissa Bishop of Wholehearted Studio. Today, we're using cinema therapy to explore grief, loss, and the invisible pain we carry through the lens of friends. Because sometimes the people we watch on TV teach us more about ourselves than we expected. Karen, before we get started, why don't you give a synopsis of what's going on in this episode?
So we're at season 1, episode 12, the one with the dozen lasagnas that we're calling The Day Secrets Surfaced. So the basic synopsis is it's a night of secrets, violations, and consequences. Everyone's dealing with something, but they're still there for each other. The big one is Phoebe gets a referral for a new massage client, being Paolo. That doesn't go over real well when Paolo grabs her butt and rolls over, and oh yeah, he's in his naked splendor with a sheet on him, and Phoebe gets a better view of things than she wants, and then has to deal with the mental battle of, do I tell my friend? Do I not tell my friend? How do I do this? And when she finally does tell Rachel, how Rachel reacts, and the grief that Rachel experiences, understanding that relationship she had with Paolo is no longer the same. Ross learning that Rachel is reacting and ridding herself of Paolo in this episode deals with how he's going to try and move into expressing his interest in her, even though she kind of friend zones him, which we'll get into as we start delving more. Monica makes 12 lasagnas for her Aunt Sylvia, not knowing that they were supposed to be vegetarian because her Aunt Sylvia didn't tell her that. So now she spends the rest of the episode trying to get rid of this. And Chandler and Joey go through their own little stuff because their kitchen table breaks. And they have the coupley type conversation of who should pay for the replacement. Do we go in joint with it? If we buy it together, what happens if one of us moves out? And when that gets posed, it's, wait, are you planning on moving out? And then there's that little shock of, I don't want to lose you. What are you doing? And after going to several stores and looking at lots and lots of things, they decide to do a very cool 20-something maneuver and not get a traditional table, and they get a foosball table. Just kind of a fun thing. But yeah, so we have end of relationships. We have mental battles of how to tell your friend something that feels like they were part of a betrayal, how others are reacting to the mess. And then we've got two friends that are grieving the loss of an inanimate object. So it's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And I absolutely love the visual of something in this episode because it has so much meaning to it. When Paolo shows up for this romantic weekend, right? And Rachel breaks up with him, and she takes his clothes and throws them over the balcony, right? It's so symbolic. She's discarding and letting go of so many things in that moment, not just the clothes.
And on that point, too, like one of the things that is addressed in both our healing circles is how movement can release a lot of the grief and the trauma that we hold in. And even though she's just dumping out a suitcase, it's movement. She's taking action.
Yeah. Yeah, she's taking her power back in that moment and saying, this is not going to run me. This does not rule me, right? This shattered illusion that he was somebody he wasn't. Um, and there's so much strength in how she handles this because he showed her who he was and she believed it. So oftentimes we ignore a red flag or we blame the other person, and then we end up in more stuff than we want to be into. So when people show you who they are in their actions, believe them, folks, even when it hurts.
Or when it's the other way. Because sometimes people say, don't count on me to show up.
Right.
And then they continue to show up.
Mm.
So it can work both ways.
It can. It can.
But yeah, she goes through a lot. And also it's interesting too, because this is the first relationship she's had post-Barry. And you never want to think about the fact that that first relationship is a rebound. And you certainly don't want to think of that first relationship as being a lesson that you end up learning way too quickly or painfully. But even what Phoebe goes through to try and tell her what happens, like Phoebe really battles with the do I, don't I? And it's so cute the way she does it. And I'm probably going to get this whole thing wrong, but she bakes these cookies and she says, Rachel, I know that you haven't known me long, but there's 3 things you got to know about me. 1, I never lie. 2, I make the best oatmeal something cookies out there. And 3, I never do anything intentionally to hurt my friends. And she gives Rachel a cookie and she says, oh my God, this is so good. Why have I never had any of these before? And she says, I don't want to make the other cookies jealous, but now you know I don't lie. And then she rips off the Band-Aid and tells her that Paolo made a pass while giving the massage. And Rachel goes through her different feelings and processing. And then Phoebe stops. Oh, and they start apologizing to each other. Rachel apologizes for even sending Paolo to her. And Phoebe apologizes for the fact that she was there for him to grab. And then they both say, why are we apologizing to each other? He's the jerk. And then Phoebe stops and says, should I have not told you? And like that comes from a sheer place of just, is our friendship going to be okay because this happened? And I didn't ask for it to, but it happened.
Yeah. And this is such a strong episode about how when we're the victim of something, it takes a lot of bravery to stand up and talk about what happened. I mean, she was violated, right? And I think it was so beautiful how Rachel supported her too, because oftentimes, for whatever reason, I'm still not sure I can wrap my head around this one, the victim isn't supported when they speak up.
No, you're right.
And so everyone who's listening to this knows we are always here to support you in your grief and anything that's happened to you, any trauma, anything. You do not deserve that.
It's also just interesting too, because in the last, and even in the episode before, we had that secondary trauma of worrying about the other's reaction and how you reveal the truth, and it shows how strong this core friend group is, because they really do worry about each other. They really honestly care, and it's good that they have the support system. The downside is sometimes that support system isn't all you need. So Roz goes through some stuff too with this. Because now he has an open window to be able to try and climb back into the graces of Rachel. And Chandler and Joey even say, go, this is your opportunity. She's getting rid of him. He goes out there to comfort her and she freaks and says, I don't want to have anything to do with men anymore. I'm done with guys. And the look on Ross's face, and then she hugs Ross and says, but I'm so glad I have you. And now, friend zoned.
God, what a hard moment. Seeing the expression on his face. He's always good with those facial expressions that make your heart stop for him.
Right, so he's got the secondary grief.
Yep.
He's got, which is him grieving the secret that he's wanting to be with her, and then now I can't express it because you just said writing off guys for a while. The loss of choice for that same reason. Oh, and this is also the episode when they find out what the baby's going to be.
Yeah.
And Ross doesn't want to know, and everybody else finds out. And secondary joy because Paolo is finally gone, so the competition's not there. But then he's also, in the same breath, having the anticipatory grief, knowing that he's preparing to be a father that's not going to always be present. So he's got a lot of jumbled emotions going on. And it's important to mention all of these because we know that Ross really spirals several seasons from now. And at these moments and all of these other episodes in season 1, season 2, we start seeing these layers of lasagna in Ross's life build that causes this inevitable spiral because he's relying on the core support system and little emotional band-aids instead of really addressing these things and getting coached through how to really handle them.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out here too that as he's preparing for fatherhood, he doesn't know what the full picture is going to look like. Right? So he has all of this anticipatory grief when sometimes it's helpful to just stay present in that moment and not try to predict or analyze what's going to happen. And this is important to state here too, that joy and grief can exist at the same time, even though because he's happy he's going to be a father, but he's grieving all of these lost things that haven't even happened yet. And it's just a whirlwind. This poor guy. It's so much.
It's always so much with him. It's kind of a shame. He doesn't catch a break for long.
So this episode is where we learn secrets surface, violations are revealed, and when they are, we have a choice. We can protect the violator or we can protect the violated. Rachel chose to protect Phoebe. The group chose to support Rachel. That's what real friendship looks like. Not perfection, not avoiding pain, just showing up, believing each other, and protecting the people we love. Even when it's messy, I love messy, especially when it's messy.
So join us next time when we're diving into episode 13, the one with the boobies, where Chandler accidentally sees Rachel's breasts, and we explore boundaries, shame, embarrassment, and what it means to be seen literally in ways we never intended. And we also have another betrayal piece in that episode. So stay with us next time. Da 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 da